Hello everybody, this is Hashir. Welcome to Fibonacci sequence in Python. Basically, Fibonacci numbers or Fibonacci sequence is a series of numbers which each number are the sum of previous two numbers. So for example, 3 is the result of 2 and 1, and 5 is the result of 3 and 2, and 8 is the result of 5 and 3, and so on. So in Python, it's very easy to write this sequence. For example, let's say we have two numbers, number 1 equals 0 and number 2 equals 1, right? The number 3 will be number 2 plus number 1. So number 3 will be 1. Now, we are going to increase by this sequence, right? That number 1 becomes number 2, and number 2 becomes number 3. Then we do the same thing. Number 3 will be number 2 plus number 1. Now number 3 will be 2. So we do it one more time. Then number 1 equal number 2, number 2 equal number 3, and number 3 equal number 2 plus number 1. So number 3 will be 3. So as you see, it's very basic and simple process. Then let's create a function in Python and do all these things inside that function with help of very simple for loop. Actually, you can do it also with while loop, but we are going to specify in which range we need to have these numbers. So here we are going to simply define a function and n as a parameter, which will be the number we are specified the range of our for loop. So same as what we did here, we defined two numbers, like two variables. So number 1 equals 0 and number 2 equals 1. All right, now for I in range of n, which will be this parameter, we are going to give it to our function when we want to call it. Do all these things. It means number 3 equal number 2 plus number 1, and number 1 equal, it becomes number 2, and number 2 is equal number 3, which or becomes number 3. And every time we can just print number 3. So to see this sequence more easy, we can use time. So we can import time, and every time we print number 3, we can have time.sleep 50 milliseconds, so we can see what's going on. So as you see, we have two variables or two numbers, number 1 and number 2. For range of any given number, we are going to give to our function. Number 3 will be the sum of number 2 and number 1. And after number 1 will become number 2, and number 2 will become number 3. So you should keep in your mind that number 3 is already increased here. So every time we increase here, next time which number 2 will be number 3, number 2 also will be increased. So also number 1 will be number 2, and number 2 is also increased in previous loop. So then let's call our function. Let's say we want to have in range of 20, we want to have Fibonacci numbers. And here we just run this 1, 2, 3, 5, and you see it's just increasing the same sequence. But also we can have some fun with Fibonacci sequence. We can use turtle module, and we can come up with like different shapes and stuff in turtle, just using Fibonacci sequence. But let's create draw some circles with each time the radius of circle is increasing by the Fibonacci sequence. So here we can import turtle, and we already have time, then it should be enough. All right. So now instead of calling specifying the function in the parameter in the function, let's forget about this range and we can get it from the user. All right, so here at the beginning we can have something like that. We can have number equal int input, and here we can ask the user specify your range number. Okay, and there after we can call it number 1 equal 0 and number 2 equal 1, or we can also write it this way. We can say number 1 and number 2 equals 0 and 1. So this is also one way. It's actually really tough. So it actually doesn't matter. So number 1 equal 0 and number 2 equal 1. All right, now we can have like print something like not 88, some star, and Fibonacci, and after we can bring this up and we can forget about n and can use number here, right? Because we got the number as input from the user. So we already know we are using this range number for our for, all right? And we can have like one print at the end, so we can have some kind of, I don't know, separator. And now we can ask the user if want to see any visualization of this sequence in our code. Like we have some kind of presentation. All right, this is what's going to happen when you increase the radius of circles by Fibonacci sequence. So we can write some variable, create a variable visuals or whatever you want to call it, equal input, and ask a question like visual something like that. I don't know, or yes or no, yes or no, right? Then no, if visual equal yes, lowercase, then very simple turtle object, pen equal turtle dot turtle, right? And pen dot pen up for now, and pen also dot hide turtle, which is hiding the turtle cursor actually, and the pen up is detaching it. Imagine you have a pen drawing on a paper and you are lifting the pen. So pen up is actually doing the same thing. So we can set the position for our pen. Pen dot set position is 0 and minus 200. Don't worry, it's like experimental. You just play a little bit with it and you will find a good right position for you. But in this program with the portion I'm going to have my screen, this is the best place for our pen. Now we create our screen object. Here screen equal turtle dot screen, which is give us some kind of control over the turtle screen, speed and the update and this stuff and the background color and these things. And after screen dot setup will be 700 width and 700 height, and the position on monitor, position on the screen monitor will be 0. It means like top left corner. All right, now we just give a screen that's background black color, not black. All right, and we screen dot tracer, we set it on 4. And if you don't know, screen tracer is controlling the animation, how I can explain it, the refresh rate for a screen in our Turtle is defined with screen tracer, something like display that update or display that flip in Pygame. It's like you are drawing something and it doesn't show the process of drawing completely, so you will see better animation. So now after all this stuff, we can put our pen down. So pen down, and again, what we can do, actually we have our first number and second number already, then we don't need to specify them. So so what we can do now, actually let's create another for loop here. So for I in range, again, number, right? In range number, we say number 3 equal number 2 plus number 1. Yes, and number 1 becomes number 2, and number 2 becomes number 3. Yes. All right, now don't get confused. Here we are going to update our screen because we are going to draw on our screen. So every time we are doing this sequence, which is our main goal, we are going to have some kind of animation on the screen. Then let's update our screen, screen.update, and let's say time.sleep, again, same as above, 0.50. And now we can use circle method from Turtle. Circle method is basically drawing you a circle by giving it a radius number. So pen dot circle, and the radius number will be number 3, which is increasing every time. Yes. So let's say let's just try it. All right, let's just try it. File range number 10, 1 2 3 5 6. Okay, a visual, yes. And screen object attributes bg color order. We have some typo here. Where is my typo? Yeah, bg color. Okay, my bad. Let's try one more time. Specify the number, range number, or 10. and some visual. Yes, where is it? Oh, all right. Now it's a problem that we didn't specify the pen color, because here we have background color black, and normally the pen color in Turtle by default is black, so we can also define a pen color here. So instead of defining only one color, let's try to have random color every time with different circles. So for example, here we can, let me show you how we can define the color of, I think you already know, but pen color. Now for example, we can set it to white, right? And now when we start our program, specify a number. I take it this way because I want you guys see the screen, Turtle screen. And specify your range number is 10, 3, 4, 13, 21. Well, yes, and where are you? Oh, yeah. Super big. Super big. And the reason is, started from last time we iterate through the loop. All right, so let's fix it. So here, if visual is yes, we have to reset the numbers. So we have to say number 1 equals 0 and number 2 equal 1 again, because when we started in this loop, the number been already increased. So that's why we had that size of circle in our screen. And also one thing we can do is we call turtle.main loop. So after this operation, the screen will not disappear. Specify range number 10. Here visuals, yes. No, it's better. As you see, it's just screen increasing. All right, then let's make it, next time we'll make it in 15. Now let's take care of those different colors. We can have we can make a list colors equal let's say we have white, we have blue, red, gold, green, and gray. Okay, and we import also random module, import. So after we import random module, we simply can replace white with random.choice method. So here we have random.choice, here colors. Okay, so it will choose randomly any color from the colors, and we will have different pen color every time. So after we change the color, we can take this line and put it here. Okay, because here it was just changing once, and after it would go to our for loop. Now every time it's going through this loop, it will change the color, so we can have different colors. Now let's see, let's give it 11. Yes. Right, so we could also go for maybe so now one thing more we can have here. We can just for fun write Fibonacci after finishing our circles. Why not? So after our for loop, we can set the pen on top of the circle. So pen dot set position will be 0 and 280, let's say, and we have to have some kind of font, and font equal, let's have Arial and number 20. Okay, now we can write pen dot write, which is write method from turtle. We can write Fibonacci sequence. Is it correct? Yep. And after we can have font, which is font. It means like we define font here, and it's not for font. We define our font here, and after we pass it here, so the font will be this font which we defined it already there. Okay, and so what if the user doesn't want to see any visual? So else just print it. If you don't like it, we won't show you. Right. That's okay. And let's try. Specify your number. That's 12. And here, yes. Then Fibonacci sequence. So as you see, Fibonacci sequence or Fibonacci numbers are really easy to write with Python, and but we might write the same sequence with generators. Also, as I said before, the FizzBuzz, we are going to write them with generators, but before that we are going to learn what is generators, and so we will continue. So I hope you like this tutorial. As always, if you like my tutorials, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. I see you guys in the next video.